Hello everybody, hope you've had a wonderful weekend. The weather's been great this weekend. I hope it's the same for wherever you are in the country, the world, blah blah blah. That always makes me feel better. Been out in the garden, we've got some gardening done. I didn't really want to do the gardening, but it was looking really, in fact, both lawns look like a field. Anyway, let's get cooking. This is supper tonight, so I've got to crack on because we're both starving. This is, I'm hoping you'll love it. I've tried this now twice. Doing it two different ways and I just love it. So the original recipe for this was a slow cooker recipe, and more people are saying to me, living conditions and things, they haven't always got all the pieces of kit. So I thought, okay. So although I'm doing it in my Ninja, I'm using the Ninja a bit like the hob with a pan lid on. Basically, that's all it's going to be. So you guys and girls with just a nice big wok with a lid, you'll be able to do it in this, okay? As long as you can control your temperatures and take it down to a simmer, you're laughing. Okay, so it's chicken thighs, cheap and cheerful. It's getting more important that we think about our winter meals. If we want proteins in it, they've got to be the way economy is, especially over this country. It's tough. It's expensive, so we need to think what we can use during the week that's not going to cost a fortune. Chicken thighs. In the past, I've never been a great lover of chicken thighs, but now I've experimented more with more recipes. So all I've done with my chicken thighs is salt and peppered them. I've got a tablespoonful of oil. This has been preheating up into, can you hear that? Lovely. Lovely sizzle. I'm going to brown these chicken thighs off. That's my first job. This dish has a fabulous sauce, and it's the sauce and the vegetable that I find as big a star as the chicken. Okay, that's 1 kg of chicken, and it's given me, let me count the pieces, 6 pieces. We'll have 2 each tonight, and then John will probably take the rest to work as lunch one day this week, okay? You just leave them in on there on a high sear. So if you're doing it in your wok, you want a fair bit of heat so it's sizzling. Get those chicken thighs skinned down, browned off totally. I'll show you them when they come out. The other thing to say is I've gone for the bone in. I don't normally. The reason I've gone for the bone in, I'm not making this into a curry or anything. So I want the flavours that the bones actually bring to the dish. So that's why it's got the bones in. Okay, while they're done, they're going to take 5 to 8 minutes, and then we take them out and build sauce up. Celeriac, sorry, not celeriac, my other favourite vegetable. Fennel is the main veg in here tonight. It's fennel season, just like it's celeriac season. So there's a lot of it about. Lots of people have said, not sure what you do with this. This is such useful stuff. It can be finely diced into a salad to bring a little oomph in the flavour. Or today, this is going in pretty like a chicken stew, okay? So you cut the top straight off, you cut the bottom straight off. This is what I do. Then you go straight down the middle of your fennel down there. And I cut out the little solid heart bit that fits in there. You don't want to be eating that, guys. That stays tough. And then next job, I'll put that one back. I've got half of it there. 1 large bulb of fennel. And I'm just slicing it up, not too fine. Like I say, think of it as we're building a chunky stew. That's kind of what we're doing. Okay, I'm on my own again today, so I haven't got a cameraman zooming in on everything. Right, so that's my bowl of fennel. Like I say, the hearts are out there. So that's 1 large head of fennel, and it's just quite roughly chopped up, okay? This is a giant white onion, so I'm only using half, okay? Again, just chopped up. 3 cloves of garlic. Actually, it's only the size of maybe 2 good-sized cloves. Can't get hold of any decent garlic at the moment, so I'm making do with what I can get. Just roughly chop your garlic. It's all going in there. Right, I'm just going to have a look at my chicken. I don't know if you can see that over there, but I'll get another shot of it in a minute. That's exactly what I want going on. I'm just going to flip them over. When I take the chicken out, we're just going to stand it and let it settle, because we're going to build up, put it in the veg and build up the sauce. Then the chicken is going to sit in the sauce, and that's going to cook for another 45 minutes, just like you would a stew, okay? Right, they've just been browned off in olive oil. I put about 1.5 tablespoonfuls inside the big pot. Now into that is going our onions and garlic, straight in, and the fennel, okay? Get a spoon. Oh, and the garlic and onions hit the pot. Oh God, lovely smell. Okay, we're just going to saute those off for a few minutes. I always like to give onions a chance to become translucent. It develops the flavour, if you're wondering what that's about. Now, I am using a lot of my favourite ingredients tonight. A lot of you don't like olives. You don't have to put them in. And I learned a tip just a couple of weeks ago. A friend of mine who uses lots and lots of black olives in her Greek cookery. You know, I said to her, sometimes find them quite bitter. She said, soak them in cold water, give them an hour in cold water, drain them, dry them off. Oh my God, do you know it works? They're absolutely beautiful. It takes away all the bitterness. Right, okay, so you don't have to put those in. I've got another friend who's tried this recipe. She puts chunks of carrot in. You can put in vegetables that you like, anything that you like. Bring it to this dish, make it your own. Okay, some of the things I am putting in, just give that a stir. I don't want any garlic or onions sticking on there. Fabulous. Dijon mustard, one of my most favourite flavourings for anything. Honey, that goes in, and we're using something a little bit different tonight, roast harissa, okay? I like harissa paste. I've got the apricot one, which I quite often use for curries. I like the rose one for meaty dishes. It gives it just a little bit of oomph. Glass of white wine, quite a big glass actually, but it makes the sauce beautiful. 3 or 4 sun-dried tomatoes, which I'm going to chop up, they go in. Tomato paste, and I think that's about, the bay leaf. Okay, the bay leaf can go in now and be developing its flavours. So the bay leaf is fresh out of the garden, that's gone in. Right, I want to chop up 4 of these beautiful, I love sun-dried tomatoes. They've got such a lovely, intense flavour. If you like more tomatoey flavour, just go for it, put a couple more in. Right, okay, and then chicken stock. So, but we're going to put the wine in there probably next and let the alcohol kind of evaporate, cook through, develop its flavour. Right, okay. That's those done. I think we're ready to put the wine in. Right, so oh, that's looking lovely. Right, that's gone in. I want that to bubble away so that I know we won't get intoxicated by it. Right, okay, my chicken stock, 1/2 pint of chicken stock. Into that, I'm going to put my harissa. Now you've got to remember, folks, harissa is basically red chilies to paste mixed with other spices, okay? So just go careful, don't go by the tablespoon because you could spoil your dish. This 2 teaspoons just gives it a lovely, lovely flavour. Right, so that's my little bit there, and I'm going in with 2 tablespoonfuls of tomato paste. Okay. You could, if you haven't got these things in, use a can of chopped tomatoes. I want you all to realise recipes are only guidelines. You can develop them to what you want them to be. Unless you're doing classical French cooking, which does really depend on you sticking to the actual weights and measures and what's in there for classic flavours. Everyday cooking, like I'm doing, is just about putting in what you like. Right. Okay. Right, so I've got all that going. Right, that wine's starting to reduce nicely. Gosh, that's lovely. Always remember, guys, don't go too cheap on your wine for cooking. You just could make it just too acidic by using cheap wine, okay? Right, in with my tomatoes, my sun-dried tomatoes. They've gone in, give them a stir. Wow. Right, and now my Dijon mustard. I think if I was going anywhere and people said you're allowed to take one thing with you to help you, the basic meals you're cooking, what will it be? Mine would be Dijon mustard. And my olives are going in. That was one small packet, 60 grams, if you're wondering exactly the weights. Okay, and the last thing that we put in 10 minutes before we finished, I'm using this tiny orzo pasta. It always looks like rice grains to me, but it's absolutely perfect in this type of thing. Absorbs a lot of the stocks and flavours. It's brilliant. No need to do any spuds or anything else. Right, okay. And far from being last but least, honey. Two tablespoons. Because of your chilies and the acid of the vinegar and my olives, when I initially tried this, I thought, first take, it needed a bit of sweetness in there. I thought, what's the best thing I can use as a sweetener? I thought, honey. I use honey in curries and all sorts of things when I need to just give it that little bit of softness. Okay, that's ready now. Any stock left on your plate from the chicken, put it back in, but they're going in. Oh. Okay. That smells divine. That's as far as we're going now, so I'm going to put the lid down. Right, I'm going to stop that. I'm now going to take this over onto, I'm putting it on like a bake roast thing, as though I was putting it into the oven at 170, 175. You can achieve this the same way by just keeping it on the top of your stove, putting your lid down, and what you're looking for is you want an active simmer. You don't want it just sitting on a simmer, it won't cook the fennel. You need quite a rolling simmer, okay? You can get that in your wok. I quite often do this type of thing on the top. I've tried it on the top and I like it in here because I can leave it alone, okay? Right, so I'm just going over to bake and we'll go down. Let's go 175, and it's gonna need, I want the chicken cooked through and I want my fennel cooked through. So we say 40 to 45 minutes. I always like people to judge themselves because some people like the vegetables really mushy, really well cooked. Others like them al dente and things like that. So that's why the chicken is virtually cooked now because we give it a good seal. So the chicken would be cooked in another 10 minutes anyway. But with it being thighs, that muscle relaxes. The longer it's cooked, you could give it an hour on a real gentle simmer. It won't take any harm at all. Just keep checking you're not running out of liquid, okay? So let's start that. And I'm going to say, see you in 45 minutes. Hi guys, I've just checked this. This is looking so good. Smells divine. But it's at this point now, it's got 15 minutes left to go. So I'm actually, this pasta doesn't take so long. But what it is great at, I tip this in now and it absorbs some of the liquid, the excess liquid, so you don't have to do a reduction, which is very good. In actual fact, looking at it, if you didn't want to put this in, I wouldn't even reduce it that much because the sauce is beautiful and you could dip crusty bread in it, so it's up to you. But I'm putting about 2 tablespoonfuls of pasta in here, just enough really for John and I. Right, stir that through. Now what you do need to make sure you do is get the pasta into the sauce, not stuck on top of the chicken breasts like I've just done. So I'm just flipping them over so the pasta goes into the sauce. That's it. Right, put the lid back down. And as I was saying, guys, if any of you are doing this on the stove top, keep a lid on so that you make sure it doesn't dry out, because that length of time it would dry out and you'd be just, all the sauce would be evaporating. One thing I must tell you, I forgot to write it on my recipe. I suddenly thought, I tasted the sauce about 10 minutes ago, made sure it was developing right. I thought, that's lovely. There's some little thing missing and I couldn't remember what it was, and then I suddenly remembered. I put half of a preserved lemon in last time. Gives it kind of a quirky, salty lemony thing. I could have got away with it without it. It would have been fine. But because I'm all about building flavours, I just thought I've chopped it up, bunged it in there, and it's in there now. And straight away, within 5-10 minutes, the sauce had lifted just that little bit. So it's up to you guys whether you put those type of things in or not. See you in another 16 minutes. Bye for now. Okay, and it's just finished, so let's get in there. Oh wow, that looks lovely. Okay guys, so I'm going to now serve this. Don't be put off with the olives. Don't forget, remember what I said. If you don't do olives, just don't use olives. Use the things that you do like. Normally I wouldn't put the green bits on, because John always says, what's the green bits about? But because it's for you people on YouTube tonight, if you're going into a restaurant, it would be finished off. This is no restaurant. It will never be a restaurant, but at least it looks dressed. Okay, I do hope you give this a try. Absolutely. I tell you what, I'll just open up one of the chicken thighs and just check that meat's beautiful. Right, this is steaming hot, but I'm going to test it. That is simply so good. And the chicken it's moist and full of flavour, bags and bags of flavour. So give that one a go. Okay, you can put it in your slow cooker, you can put it in your oven, you can do it in a wok on the top, and if you've got one of these, you can do it in that. Okay, thanks for watching. See you all soon. Mwah.